In this video, I'm going to show you how to become a millionaire using rental properties. And I'm actually going to draw it out on my whiteboard in a very simple way so that even if you're just starting out and you don't know anything about real estate, by the end of this video, you'll be much clearer about how you can do it too. If you're new here, my name is Chad Carson. You can also call me Coach, and this channel is all about helping you get out of the financial grind so you can do more of what matters. Before we get into the math, I want to first explain three main ways that you make money with rental properties. I'm going to go into more detail with each of these in the example, but the three ways are: number one, cash flow. So this is the difference between the rent that you bring in from your tenant and the expenses that you have on a property. What's left over, what you put in the bank, is your cash flow. Number two, you have pay down of your loan. So if you borrow money to buy a property, when you collect your rent every month and make your payment, some of each one of those payments goes towards reducing what you owe on that debt. And so that's another way to make money. The third way is appreciation. So if you hold a property and it's in a good location with good long-term fundamentals, it tends to go up in value over time. That doesn't mean every single year is going to go up. There's some ups and some downs, just like any market. But again, over the long run, with good properties, you will make money by the price of that property going up. If you want an easy way to remember those, just remember that the first three letters of each word are CPA. Because when you start making money with rental properties, your CPA, which stands for Certified Public Accountant, and this is the person who helps you with your taxes, your CPA is going to be very impressed by how much money you're making. If you have another way to help us remember that, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Now let's look at an example that shows how these three ways of making money with rental properties works in real life. Let's say you buy a single family house for $200,000. Now, how do you buy that? You could put 20% down, that's $40,000, and maybe you had another $10,000 in closing costs and also just setting aside some money for a cash reserve. So you'd have about $50,000 in cash invested in the property. That also means because you put $40,000 down, you have a $160,000 mortgage. Now, interest rates change over time, but as I'm recording this, you could get a 30-year mortgage as an investor for about 5% interest. So that means you'd have a payment of $859 per month, or you'd pay $10,308 per year. So let's also say this property you bought for $200,000 also rents for $1,800 per month. Now, I know what some of you are thinking already. You're saying buying a property for $200,000 that rents for $1,800 today in 2022 in a competitive market is next to impossible. So the first thing I want to say is this channel, and a big part of what I do with my online courses, is helping you become a deal maker, looking for good opportunities and finding deals that do make sense. So this is an art form. It's something you have to learn. It's something you have to work at. But even with this property, I looked on Zillow very quickly in my hometown of Newnan, Georgia, where I grew up. And I found a property there that had just sold on Zillow at the end of 2021 that also had an estimated market rent. I used Zillow and also Bigger Pockets to do rental estimator calculators. And both of them had this property that actually sold for $200,000, renting for approximately $1,800 per month. So it's not impossible. You do have to search. And those of you who are in high price markets, the math's a little bit different. Some of the math I'll be doing in this video, you have to adjust that to a different strategy in a higher price market that's a little bit more reliant on appreciation. If you want to see an example of that, I'll have a link in the video description below and also above me somewhere to a video I did on how to make money in higher price markets. So back to our sample deal and how you make money with rental properties. Remember, the way you make money, number one, is cash flow. So on this property, if you had $1,800 per month in rent, and let's just assume you had $700 per month in operating expenses. Now, I'm not going to break down each of those in this video, but that includes things like taxes, insurance, property management, maintenance, also capital expense reserves, so saving up money to replace your roof, to replace your heating and air, and also allocating some money that you're going to have a vacancy here and there, so you're not always going to collect $1,800 per month. So all of those are included in an estimate of $700 per month in operating expenses. So when you subtract that from $1,800, you get $1,100 per month in a number called net operating income, or NOI. If you watch any of my videos, you know this is one of the most important numbers in all of real estate, so it's important to figure out how to calculate that. So you have $1,100 in NOI, but you also have to subtract your mortgage payment, which remember we already figured out was $859 per month. So when you subtract $859 from $1,100, you get $241 per month in cash flow. I also call this net income after financing. If you watch some of my other videos on running the numbers, and on an annual basis or over the whole year, that $241 turns into $2,892. So it's nice that you made some cash flow. You put over $2,800 in the bank in 1 year, but that's not the only way you make money with a rental property. Remember, method number 2 is paying down the loan balance on the debt that you borrowed from the bank. So you make a payment of $859 per month, and on an annual basis, that's $10,308 that you're paying to the bank. Now, out of that total payment, one part of it is interest. So you pay in the first year about $7,947 in interest. And the other part of your payment is $2,361. And that is actually reducing what you owe to the bank. That's called principal paydown. It's also called an amortizing loan. You might hear that vocabulary as well. But the important part is you now owe $2,361 less to the bank. So although that's on paper, you can't eat that amortization. You can't use it to do something else yet until you sell it or refinance the property. Your net worth has grown and you've made money of $2,361. So you've made some money from cash flow. You've built some wealth by paying your loan down. But remember, there's a third way that you can make money with rental properties, and that's the appreciation of the price of the property. So let's say in our example, our $200,000 property goes up by 3% per year. That would be $6,000 in the first year. Now, there are a couple caveats that I want to say with this. You might be thinking, hey, look at the last couple of years and how much properties all over the country have been going up. In certain parts of California that I've seen and other hot markets in the country, a 20% growth rate of the price of the properties has been the norm for a lot of markets. And so the point is that's not normal. That historically, having a historical rate of about 3%, maybe up to 5% in some markets, has been more the norm. So when you're estimating how much wealth you're going to build, you don't want to use the best case scenario. You want to use more of a normal scenario. And there are even years when properties go down in value. And so you never know from year to year what's going to happen with appreciation. But again, over the long run, this is a long-term plan. You buy good locations with good properties. The tendency is for those properties to go up in value. And this is a way that you can build wealth, sometimes a lot of wealth, by owning rental properties. Now let's take a look at all three of these methods of making money on a rental property and put them together. So in this property, you had $2,892 in the first year from cash flow. You also had $2,361 in loan paydown, and you had about $6,000 in appreciation. When you total all those up, you have $11,253 in the first year. So that's how much wealth you've built, including all three of those sources. And you might be looking at that and saying, all right, Chad, that's nice. $11,000 is good, but how am I going to become a millionaire? That's what you promised in the headline of this video. And the answer to that is compounding over time. You got to give this a little more time to work its magic. So I want to show you now what can happen even with this one property with these three sources of making money over a 10-year period. So I've taken the cash flow numbers that I just showed you and I put it in a spreadsheet so you can see what happens over a 10-year period. So look again in year one, $1,800 per month in rent or $21,600 per year. When you subtract your operating expenses, you're making a cash flow annually of $2,892. But what happens over time is that rent goes up. So we're going to assume about 3% per year is the rental appreciation rate. Your expenses are also going up. So your operating expenses are going up, but your main expense, your mortgage payment, stays the same. You fix that. You've got a long-term mortgage. So every year that stays the same. And so a beautiful thing happens, at least from the perspective of an investor, is that over time, if your biggest expense of mortgage payments stays the same, so that's flat on this graph, and your rent goes up over time, and also your operating expenses go up, this gap between your rent and all of your expenses gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's a cash flow gap. And over time, this is what happens with a rental property when you fix a mortgage payment and your rent goes up. You make more and more cash flow over time. And so the total, if you look at the total over a 10-year period in our example, would be you have $48,243 in cash flow over that 10-year period. So as you know by now, cash flow is not the only way to make money with a rental property. What about paying down your loan and the appreciation of the price of the property? So I have another tab in the spreadsheet that shows you that. The value of the property, remember in the very beginning, we'll call that year zero, was $200,000 when you bought it. But if it grows at 3% per year, remember the first year was $6,000 in growth, but over time that compounds and compounds and grows to the point that 10 years later, that property could be worth $268,783. So that is the value you see here on this graph. The green line starts at 200 and it grows over time and gets bigger and bigger. At the same time, your mortgage balance, which started at $160,000, gets paid down a little bit more and a little bit more every year, so that by 10 years later, you owe $130,148. So that red line on the graph is that line going down. The gap between that, again, just like the rental property income got better and better over time, the equity gets bigger and bigger over time. The equity is the difference between the value of the property and what you owe on the property. In the very beginning, you had $40,000 in equity because that's how much you put as a down payment on the property. But over time, look at how this grows. By the end, you have $138,635 in equity. That's the difference between the value growth and the equity you have from paying down the mortgage. So let's total up all of the money you made on this rental property. You have $48,243 in accumulated cash flow over that 10-year period. But then you also have $138,635 in what's called equity. So this is including your down payment that you made, but it's also including the loan pay down, the principal pay down you had over that 10-year period, and the appreciation or price growth of that property. So altogether, that's $138,635 for a total of $186,878. That is the amount of wealth or equity that you have from this one rental property over that 10-year period. So the question is, what would you have to do? How many properties would you need just like that to be a millionaire? And the answer is some pretty simple math. 6 times $186,878 is $1.121 million. That's officially a millionaire by owning just 6 rental properties. So as simple as 6 properties might seem and as easy to understand as I hope that example was, I know some of you are still going to have some objections and some concerns. So I want to address those and also give you some resources that you can use to apply this concept. The first concern you might have, understandably, is the money. What about those down payments that in my deal was $40,000, but if you had 6 properties, that's $240,000. And for a lot of you, coming up with that much cash to do a lot of deals could be a big obstacle. So my first response is, most of us start slowly, and that's actually okay. Saving up your money, buying that first property, and even taking some time after that first property to again accumulate the money for your second deal is a good thing sometimes. You're going to learn a lot on that first deal that you can apply to the second deal. But even if you don't want to wait and have to save up money for each of those deals, there are other opportunities, other things you can learn. And so knowledge is one of the most important investments you make. And so a lot of this channel teaches how to think outside the box and use creative strategies, which is actually a lot of what I did in my own business to buy properties with less money down. So if you're interested in that, I actually have a video in the video description below and also have a link above me to a video I made about how to buy properties with little or no money down. Another concern you might have is time. How are you going to find the time in your busy life to actually invest in real estate, to find the properties, to build a team, and to do everything you need to do to buy deals like I just shared with you? So a practical tip that I found from helping a lot of other people buy properties is you need at least 5 hours per week. Hopefully more, but a minimum of 5 hours per week. You could break that down into maybe 30 to 45 minutes per day in order to invest into your business, to meet people, to find properties, to learn about it. If you don't have 5 hours per week, you probably need to look at a different strategy. Maybe you need to be more passive at this point, buy index funds. You can look at other alternative real estate strategies. But if you do have the 5 hours per week, I actually made another video talking about how do you use that time wisely. If you're a full-time employee, you have a full-time job, how do you still buy rental properties? So check that video out. I have a link below and also a link above me to go to that video. A third concern you might have is the overall real estate market. Isn't it possible that we're in a bubble and that you buy a property today and tomorrow the market crashes, it goes down in value, and you feel stupid and you regret the fact that you bought at the top of the market? Shouldn't you just wait until it crashes and then buy right after that? So my response is that strategy of trying to time the market actually doesn't work. That the best way to make money is a more patient, conservative strategy. So remember the ways you make money in this example: by cash flow, paying down your loan, and a more reasonable assumption of appreciation. So those are not magic strategies. Those aren't depending on things you hope they go up in value. Those are some time-tested ways to make money in real estate. The other side of that is you should always focus on safety first. Warren Buffett always said the number one rule of investing is not to lose money. So when you buy rental properties, having cash reserves set aside just in case something goes wrong is a big deal. That's very important. Also, fixing your interest rate over a long period of time so that your mortgage payment doesn't go up and down, so there's no big payments due, there's no adjustable rates. That's another way to be conservative with your strategy. And if you do that, if you focus on the fundamental ways to make money and on being safe with your investments, then the method of making money is just being patient. This is holding on until things do work out. It might not work out exactly in that 10-year period that we looked at in the example. Life rarely does. But over time, that's how investors make money. And that's how you can become a millionaire, by owning rental properties. So one of the big takeaways that I hope you got from this video is that you don't need a big, complicated Grant Cardone style portfolio with thousands of rental units in order to be financially free. Around here, I like to use a term called the small and mighty real estate investor, which means that just owning a few properties could set you up for life. So if that style of investing is something you would like to get started with or to grow, the next video I have is something you should check out. And it's called The Real Numbers Behind Getting Started with Rental Properties. And it shows you the details of how you buy those properties, what the numbers would look like, and in a very approachable way so that you can get started with your own rental property purchases. There'll be a link in the video description below and also up above me. The Coach Carson channel is all about helping you get out of the financial grind so you can do more of what matters. My name is Chad Carson. You can also call me Coach, and I'll see you in the next video.